Jerry Langton is his name. Good morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to be here.
Not foreign territory for you to cover gang warfare. You know, we were debating the merits of bringing you onto this show because of the idea of glorifying the Bacon Brothers through this literature. But going through it, this book does anything but.
Yeah, if anything, I'm trying to warn people not to be gangsters. If you look where they ended up, all the people who've been killed, all the people who've been put behind bars, it's not a good career option.
What surprised you in terms of the findings of gang warfare when it comes to the Bacon Brothers, and what is actually happening here, let's say here on the West Coast?
Well, what I see here in the West Coast is sort of it's almost like the future of organized crime. What you're seeing here is things we've never seen before, but that are very successful. We're seeing multi-ethnic gangs, which even in places like Toronto and Montreal are unheard of. We're seeing people who really aren't forced into gangsterism through economic problems or anything else, just people who are choosing it as a career option. And that sort of thing is different from anywhere else.
That incentive of easy money, and I know that was one of the things you talked about in this book for the Bacon Brothers specifically. How do you curb that to avoid it? Because organized crime has been here. It doesn't seem like it's going away. It's something that needs to be managed. But what is the solution? Because you've been covering this beat for years.
Yeah, it falls upon the community. I mean, law enforcement does what they can, but if you have a teenage son or daughter who, maybe has a high school degree, no job, and is driving a $150,000 car, you have to ask where that's coming from. There are just too many incentives for people to get involved in this sort of thing that cutting off those incentives is a really good idea.
And what surprised you along the way in terms of putting this book together?
Just how easy it is for anyone to fall into the life, how there were people in organized crime here that were 78 years old. There were people in it who were 15 years old. It fell across all kinds of economic and social strata. It was amazing.
Yeah, and the interconnectedness, we were kind of talking about this during the break. Canada's role when it comes to organized crime, taking it outside of just the West Coast, and then what you're seeing around the world, because you've covered this thing on an international scale.
Yeah, the reason I got interested in the gang culture here, and the Bacons in particular, is because I wrote a book about the Mexican drug cartels, and I was surprised by their reach in Canada, and about how much they've done here particularly, and how they've brought cocaine to places that really, and methamphetamines to places that hadn't seen them before, with disastrous effects, violence, and it was shocking.
So when we look at the future of the idea of gang warfare, especially here in the Lower Mainland, what do you see? What's changed? What's progressed? Is it going away, or is it something that's always going to be here, a part of our community?
Well, you're always going to have organized crime when there are things that people want to buy that aren't legal. But the violence that comes along with organized crime usually happens when there are two sides rubbing up against each other who are looking for more territory, more cash, and that's what's happening here. So you're getting tit-for-tat killings. When you kill one of ours, we'll kill two of yours. Or you're getting violence because people want more territory. As long as there are two sides, you get violence. But when one side dominates, then the violence subsides. It's not always a great situation for people on the street, but at least there's an equilibrium.
I think the awareness factor is so crucial in the just empowering people in terms of opportunities to avoid this type of warfare. What do you hope people take away from this particular book? This is your 10th book now, right?
Yeah, this particular book, I think that the thesis is that, organized crime is here. Don't deny it. Live with it, understand what the cues are, and what can be done about it.
All right, well, here it is again, the Notorious Bacon Brothers, Inside Gang Warfare on Vancouver streets. Jerry, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Explaining the read. It is a fascinating one if you're looking for something to pick up on newsstands now. We're going to take a break, get you set for the 8 o'clock hour. Lots more still to come here on Tuesday's Breakfast Television.